There's a place called a gin mill way down in the slums. There's a place called a gin mill way down in the slums. My baby goes that night and stays till the morning comes. Oh, she drinks gin and whiskey, and she drinks
away.
Howdy, howdy, folks. How y'all doing?
Howdy ho! That's our traditional cowboy
This
greeting.
isn't Tally.
What?
This isn't Tally.
Was that Tally or was that Mr. Mr. Hanky?
No, that's
Mr. Hanky.
Yeah.
Oh,
See?
that's right.
Yeah.
Close.
Tally's too stoned to
Yeah.
do that, man. He can't. And
Get your shit right.
where we at, boys?
I don't know.
We're at
I
one
have beer in my hand.
Burnham Brewery.
We are at Burnham Brewery and way up in Michigan City.
You even know
We
where
took
you're
a bit
at,
of a drive. No, I forgot for a
You
minute.
drove here. How do you not know where you're at?
Google.
Just do what you're told.
I do. That's the only lady telling me what to do for the last 10 years.
The one you listen to.
Actually, I yell at her a lot.
See, she just shuts that part off.
Well, it gets really awkward for me when I'm riding passenger and he's yelling at her.
Yes. Why are you taking me that direction? I don't want to go that way.
We are at Burnham Brewery. This is Michigan City. This is kind of a local favorite. I know that. We've been trying to get up here for a while now. We have good friends, Scott Hardwick and Webster. Sean Webster been bugging us to get our asses in here. Of course,
And it's
Robert
funny.
Rolfe Feddersen. Get
Well,
your
yeah,
asses
that
to
was
Burnham.
him.
Well, it's funny.
but,
The time we actually get up here, they're not here.
None of them are here.
No. And we have a special show today because we have the ladies from Pink Shots Podcast.
Hello. Well, thanks for having us on,
No,
especially on a Saturday morning for beer. Gosh.
Yeah,
Exactly.
goddamn, twist my arm.
Is there anything better than day drinking?
Exactly.
I mean,
no.
No.
You can't drink all day unless you start first thing.
Yeah,
Exactly.
we got to start pretty early.
It
Yeah.
is.
Thank
We've
you.
been talking
we're
about
always
doing a
in
show
for
with you
that.
guys for a while now, so
I
we
know.
finally got together.
Finally, a year
But,
later.
and what a great place to do it at in Burnham.
Yes.
And of course, we have Blake here from Burnham. Blake, you are the owner, correct?
Yeah, one of the co-owners
Okay.
of Burn Em Brewing.
And how long have you guys been around here?
We've had the tap room open for 3 years now. We've been selling and distributing throughout Indiana for about 4.
Nice.
Okay.
A little over 4, probably.
So you did distribution before
Yeah,
the
so
tap
we
room
opened
went out.
and
Okay.
we started selling kegs only. Then we started bottling a little. Then we started canning, and then opened the tap room doors. It would be May of 2013. Or no,
Nice.
I'm sorry, May of 2015.
2015.
Pretty much my only experience with Burnham so far has been Scott Hardwick and me shotgunning a $14 chuck.
No,
A few.
That's a great one. Shotgun.
Well,
Was it $14? Is that what it is?
14
Yeah,
bucks.
oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
our money beer. Man.
yeah, and it is. I mean, it was fantastic. It hits the throat very well for 16 ounces.
It was disturbing. No, because it was. Yeah, we were at Noblesville Brew Fest,
Yes.
Oh,
I
yeah.
believe, and
Yes.
and Hardwick and them. Yeah, he just kept doing the old school shot. Poke
Yeah.
the can, and
Poke
doing,
jab.
but 16-ounce ones, not a little 12
Not the
ounces.
baby
Yeah,
ones.
yeah,
No, no.
16-ounce ones.
And I eventually cut my finger open,
Yes, because
like pretty
Gotta
severely.
be easy with the
He
knife.
couldn't find he couldn't find a key or something. I think he literally just jammed his thumb into the can trying to.
No,
That's when you just bite a hole.
yeah, I had my knife on me. I'm not a weirdo.
Unfortunately, you had your knife on you. Yeah.
Yes,
But the funny thing was, it wasn't even the knife that cut me.
no, it was the
It was
can.
a can.
Yeah, it was the can. And when I did, I go, "Oh man,
I'm bleeding.
And I'm bleeding." And Scott Hardwick goes, "Let me see that." I go, "Okay." And then he sticks my thumb in his mouth. I'm like,
Oh my
Ew.
god!
I'm like, "All right."
I need a tetanus shot
I'm
now.
not surprised. But
Yeah.
I felt closer to him more at that point than any time in my life.
We cut him off at one point, and then apparently he went out and snuck like 1 or 2 more
He
shotguns.
said he was done, and we turned around like, oh, shit, here comes Hardwick. And he got him
and
again.
he's back.
Yeah.
God
love
bloody
that man.
finger. That's bonding
he
right there.
he was in a state by the time we were done, and,
Oh, yeah.
and most of that was Burnham.
Yeah.
Burnham's fault. That was all you guys.
You all shouldn't have let me go
Well,
out to
he's-
eat afterwards.
It's his own fault now.
I'm not sure. I'm
He
not
sells
sure.
our beer now, so
Yeah.
he's involved too much.
I'm not sure how we got invited back to Noblesville Brew Fest.
I don't
but-
either. Yeah. Well, we're invited back to Noblesville Brewfest. We're just not invited back to that restaurant.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you
Do you
guys.
have like pictures up of you? Like,
Just
I gotta
Cowboy.
stay out.
They went to a
rest.
They went to a restaurant afterwards, and you're getting a lot up front, so I know it's kind of. But Cowboy gets
Handsy?
odd,
Oh.
handsy, and awkward with
A little
everybody.
everything.
Wow.
Oh, you might be my spirit animal.
Yes. We call this the one that loves everyone way too much.
Oh.
Like I
Way.
try to stay away. When
Oh,
she
you get
gets
handsy
drunk-
too?
Oh yeah.
I get this up in your face. Like, you can't hear me unless my nose is touching your cheek.
Gosh, when she gets drunk, I stay on the other side of the room because this is like if she gets her hands on me, there's no way of escaping. She's like, I love you so much. You're my bestest friend.
How'd you put
love
it?
me too."
You're petting the peeves?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't pet the peeves.
Oh,
Don't
you can
pet
pet
the
my
peeves.
peeves.
No, I don't want to pet your peeves because you get. Oh gosh. I had all 3 of our children. Sorry, I spit on the table.
Nah, there's been a
All
lot
3
worse
of
done
our
on that
children
table.
ate watermelon in my kitchen one time. You know, and how you eat watermelon, I teach my kids to eat it like, you know, so that nothing runs down on their shirts, right? So
That's
I
no
saved
fun.
some laundry, and she almost flipped out right
My
there.
shit was like,
She's like, don't do that. That's like my biggest pet peeve. I'm like,
is.
oh, come on.
like, fucking swallow.
I know, but
Teach your daughter right from the get-go.
oh my God.
Wow.
Well, this show's off to a great start.
They've obviously heard the show. So,
Yeah.
I'm like, come on.
well, how did you guys start doing the pink shots? What brought that about?
Well,
The guy behind us.
Yes,
Emmitt?
my husband, Emmitt Muckles from the Billionaire Lifestyle.
Plug.
Last year around this time, he also went to the podcast movement in Philadelphia, which is always a big motivator for everyone, really, that goes there. You know, you can talk to other podcasters, people that want to start a podcast. And he called me from there and said, you guys should start a podcast. The stuff that you guys talk about needs to be recorded. And we said, well, by the time he got home, we already had the whiteboard out. We already had a name. We had a website. We had a
whole
Facebook
thing.
page.
We just
and
sat
everything.
and drank and came
Yep.
up with this white. It was a shit show, but hey, we came up with it.
Yes, and since then, every week we sit in my dining room and record an episode.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, you
And
guys got to share this dumb shit. I'm sick of hearing it.
So far, yes. And so far, it's
He's
been
like,
really
Jesus.
good.
I'm tired
like,
of being the only one that hears
Exactly. He's like, please take this dumb shit to the other room and share your dumb shit with other people because I can't take it anymore.
Find a new audience.
Yeah, exactly.
And we do have a few fans that love us, which we're very, very grateful
Very.
Yeah, we have a couple.
for. You know, they give us shout outs online
Yeah.
and people coming
Yeah.
out to life events. We've had Bad Date Storytelling in downtown Valpo
Yes.
where
Yep.
people actually
God.
I didn't think that people would literally come up and talk to us,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
on stage with the speaker and everything.
You
But it
get
was
enough people
very-
drunk, they do anything.
Yeah, for
Right.
sure. And there's enough bad shit in dates out there that people are like, you're never going to believe this shit. Like, you got to hear what this dude did to me.
Yeah.
Like, or, you know,
The
like
thing is,
everybody
though,
wanted to talk about
they
it.
weren't drunk because
No.
there was no alcohol there. The only two that were drunk were us.
Us.
We took water bottles, half
Filled it
with
with
vodka,
vodka.
and cranberry juice. And yeah, by the end of this thing, we were shit faced, both of us.
Imagine that.
Have
We
you
had,
guys
like-
ever used the pouches, the powder?
What?
Powder.
There's like flavored
Cowboy,
powder pouches.
that's not the show.
Alcohol?
Yeah, it's no. You fill
Oh,
up
like
the whole
Crystal
water
Light?
bottle with like Crystal
Vodka?
Light and stuff. Yeah, you fill up the whole thing with vodka, and then you just put the.
The
You
Crystal
just
Light
gave us the
powder?
wrong
Flavor
ideas
your own
here.
vodka.
I'm like,
So then you get the whole bottle full of vodka.
my eyes are like,
And then you get the ones with like the nutrients. in
Yeah,
them,
yeah. I mean,
Light-
Pedialyte
healthy
packet or
too.
something. Throw that in vodka.
that's
like,
Cowboy's
yeah,
life
winning.
hack.
It's a
oh
Cowboy
my
beer.
God, you might be my new favorite person.
Yeah. She's gonna.
You and I are
going to
talk after this.
Let me text this guy and see how I can mix this together.
I could be more Nicole without on the, be Nicole on the DL.
Sure.
Well, Blake, how did
Yeah,
Burnham
speaking of
come
starts.
about?
Yeah,
how did,
speaking
how did
of
this
starts.
all? What's the brainchild behind that? Was that you? I mean, what?
Was that you in a garage?
Me and a
some
few
buddies?
friends, my twin brother and I, and then a couple people that.
Wait a minute, there's more than one of you?
Oh yeah, there's.
Oh man.
So we're actually like a self-started business with
Yeah.
all owner employee. There's 7 of us that full-time work here and started it together. We all, for the most part, graduated the same year or two.
Awesome.
And all went to school together and everything.
Nice.
So
Nice.
some moved away, but we all ended up
Community
back
effort.
in the area sometime, and then my brother and I were actually working up at Greenbush Brewery in Sawyer, Michigan.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
I like
But
Greenbush.
before we even were started there, we were home brewing for quite a while, and
Yeah.
See, we got fans.
I think it was while we were there, we got some Greenbush fans behind us.
Aw, it's okay.
That's awesome. Is that like a dream come true then?
Yeah, it's been an awesome ride so far. I mean,
Aw.
I probably couldn't go back to not being self-employed, but
See,
once
that's the goal.
while we were at Greenbush, I think is when we started our LLC, and we were just home brewing.
Yeah.
And we started doing a ton of festivals in the area.
Okay.
And we were just giving the beer away, thinking that And
well, as part of because I know a lot of the festivals they'll have the home brewers section versus all the others. So you guys were just going to those and just hitting in the home brew stuff.
Yeah, and then then we started. The first one we ever did, we did Blue Chip Brew Fest here.
Yeah.
They got a hold of us very last minute. We happened to
casino?
have 5 kegs in our basement at the time, and we were
They had 6 the night before, but
like, gosh. So yeah, we just showed up with that and sold out of beer in under 2 hours.
Wow.
That's
The first 2 hours of the
awesome.
fest.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. And then that trend went on for a little while for the first year of doing fest. Then once we moved into this building, we stopped doing the fest while we did construction here until we could get up and ready and brewing. Since
you got
did a ton of our work ourselves too here. But then that would have been about 2014. We I think sold our first kegs. Sold 1 to Valparaiso and 1 to it was off our small batch system. We didn't even have the big system up yet.
Was that at a frat in Valpo?
Franklin House. Have you ever been to Franklin House? No, the Franklin House is an awesome bar out in Valparaiso.
Yes.
If you've never been out there,
Very
love that
much
place.
so.
So they were one of our first, or they were our first account to sell a beer in this section. Then we sold 1 in South Bend too to LaSalle Kitchen and Tavern
LaSalle,
out there.
okay.
Yep. So that was first 2 kegs sold, but now we're up to about 1,200 barrels a year, roughly.
Oh, that's just a couple.
Yeah.
What?
Now, are you still brewing, or do you have head brewer? I mean, how did you do that? Did
So
you
my twin
cross
brother
over?
Steve is our head brewer.
Okay.
And then one of the other owners, Rob Austin, he's our assistant head brewer. So they do all pretty much the main production brewery and a lot of the small batch. And we have a couple other guys working back there too that do small batch brewers.
So sometimes do you guys screw with people and you'll come in and be the head brewer for the day, and then your
No,
twin brother
we're
will be the
very
manager.
different. My twin brother's got dreads down to here, so it's
Not interchangeable.
can't
Not
really pull that off very easily. Although I get all the time, oh, you cut your hair, and I'll be like, yeah, I just got a haircut, of course.
Now, is he in the beer hippies?
Yeah.
I think we met him
Yeah,
at
we met him at
Manahan's at
Copacetic.
Monticello.
Oh, okay,
Copacetic,
yeah.
Okay.
And I was there as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah, I play bass in the band. So.
Yeah. I was gonna say,
Bassists get overlooked,
that's the only
though.
way
That's
I
of
know
course.
him.
No, but okay, yeah. Now I remember. I feel, yeah. You feel
That was
numb?
Star Wars Day, wasn't it?
That was
Yeah, May the 4th.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
And they had their release of the maple something or another. What is the Copacetic maple one? Yeah,
We were drunk that night.
we were
Yeah.
drunk. We did have quite.
I
a
didn't
bit.
get too drunk. I had to drive back.
We had to.
I try at least.
Yeah, well, we had a good little ways to go, but
Yeah, we're good. You guys do. You guys are kind of known for doing crazy stuff with the beers. I mean, you guys do. I mean, where's that come
like
from?
a cream corn.
Well, it's
I mean-
kind of how we always just started when we were doing small batches in our kitchen. We were doing just kind of. That's where cream corn actually spawned. One of our roommates, Howie, that works here, he does our yeast and works in the tap room a bit too. And his aunt would just give us bags of frozen cream corn that she would home make, and then Steve ended up writing a recipe for it. So
I was gonna ask actually. Was it more like somebody forgot to go get the grain bill that day, and you're like, "What's in the pantry?"
nah, Steve just saw me. We had probably 10 to 15 pounds of cream corn in our freezer, and he was like, "I'm gonna write a recipe to use some of this since we don't really eat it that often."
I still don't know how you write. How do you write? I just.
So
I'll
yeah,
have
he
to
just
taste it.
wrote a cream ale recipe that would be
Yeah.
good with some sweet corn in it.
Is it really just like the canned cream or you said frozen?
Well, so back then it was when it was his aunt making these. She would actually slow cook some cream corn, and we still do it pretty much like that. We don't have his aunt come in and do it anymore, but
you should.
we should.
Does she get profit from it?
No,
Oh, come
she gets
on.
all the cream corn she could drink. Though.
Yeah, she gets all the glory, just no profit.
Yeah, but we pretty much just buy corn straight up now, corn kernels, and we'll do it's like 60 pounds, and then we'll just use our small batch kettle, which is like 20-gallon kettle, and we'll just throw it in there for about 3 hours before the brew process, and then
Yeah, that's
when you
awesome.
mash in, you just mash in with the cream corn as well. So
And it's one of your most popular ones. Is that correct? Isn't it?
yeah,
a
that's
big
been
seller?
one of our biggest sellers. So it's a canned up here. It's been huge for this area. I think for a lot of people like conversion beer, getting them into craft beer.
Now I was drinking quite heavily that day, but Scott Hardwick did tell us the story of $14 Chuck.
But we didn't do it on air because we wanted to do it on air when we
Correct.
got here. That's the one thing we talked about. So we have to know the story behind the $14 Chuck. He's looking at us like we're crazy.
Well, no, the name is. A lot of people always come in thinking it's like the $2 chuck wine, which I didn't even know about until after this beer was on tap. So.
What was the $2 chuck one?
It's like a wine, I guess.
It's a wine
Yeah.
that you
Is
can get
it?
at Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
Oh dear God!
And it's like $2 a bottle or something. Like.
They
Ask
say
the
it's
alcoholic,
They
I'll
say
know.
it's pretty decent, right?
The lady that goes and buys wine and cat food.
Yeah. And Boone's Farm apparently.
Have you had it? Now, have you had it? $2 chuck?
Yeah.
They say it's pretty
It's
decent.
very good for $2.
Does it
chuck.
come in a carton?
Just saying.
Hell,
No.
bottles for wine cost like $1. So.
Yeah, I know. So what's yeah? If they're spending money on the bottle plus the wine, yeah, it's $1.
Yeah, it's
It's
actually
$1.
the $14 chuck's become surpassed Scream Corn is probably our biggest selling beer. We never really wanted to be just brewing one beer ever, but that one has been very
Is
consistent
that
now.
what I'm drinking?
So that's $7 chuck actually.
I'm like, I'm so confused.
So that's just
7,
pretty much the
14.
same exact beer, but
on sale.
$14 chuck is all Citra hops, and then the $7 chuck is Idaho 7 hops. So that's just a new experiment with trying a different hops in the same beer recipe, essentially.
Okay, I was just curious.
And
You
then
do
we-
the 14 year round? I thought that was a seasonal one.
No, 14, and we've been doing it constantly.
Oh,
Now-
okay.
We
now
basically
they-
keep a fermenter full. Like,
Oh, nice.
Well,
Like,
it sells, so you might
yeah.
as well.
yeah, we
All
can't
right.
keep it around enough, so it's been huge cash crop.
Oh,
for
yeah,
us. So that's why
absolutely.
the can looks like a dollar bill. So
And it's-
$14 bill,
yeah.
of course.
$14 bill.
And it's delicious, I can tell you.
doing-
Without hitting taste buds, it's delicious. I know that.
You're doing it wrong. When you get the good beers, when you're supposed to stop, and quit selling it because you don't want to be that guy.
Hey, we haven't overflooded yet.
No,
so.
no.
But no, yeah, that one we actually so we encourage all our employees and everyone that to, come up with they don't necessarily write the recipe, but they came up with some ideas. So that one was actually one of our bartenders, Pat. He had the idea and just wanted a nice Nitro Pale Ale essentially, and him and Steve worked it up. And then I think that was for our Labor Days Fest a couple years ago was when we had all the employees come up with a beer. Then we brewed them all and had them all on tap at the party. Which actually Labor Days is coming up, the Labor Day weekend.
Yes.
It's Sunday in
Did you have
September.
did you have a prize at all? Like whoever's keg blew first,
No,
or
but
something?
that could be fun. But no, yeah, that one actually after that fest, it went over really, really well. So we ended up brewing it a few more times, and then decided that one was going to be one of the next ones that went into cans. And then ever since it's been in cans, it just
Are you
can't
guys?
keep it around.
Are you canning yourselves? Or are you hiring one of the?
So we use
the
the
road?
Indiana, Michigan mobile canning.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good people.
It's actually how I think we met Scott Hardwick.
I
Well, no, we met him back when he was at 3 Pints before that, but.
Oh, really? Okay.
But
Or
then
he
he used
just
to come
kinda
up here,
hangs-
canned beer and
yeah.
shotgun beer, of course.
Yes, it's Scott. He's
If
just,
you know those canners.
Yeah, if there was a brewery around, it was Scott. Everybody knew Scott.
Oh, yeah.
He's a solid.
And now he
dude.
sells
Well, it's
our
hard
beer.
to
I love
miss.
it.
Yeah.
He's only like
Comes
8 feet
full
tall, so.
Yeah, right.
Jesus Christ.
First thing he did, I think, when they started selling our beer was get us into the Viking Bar that he loves down there. I can't remember the name of it, but
Where at?
Viking Bar.
Was a Viking bar in Indiana?
in Indianapolis.
Is there? You're shitting me.
You know what?
We're on tap
Yes?
there.
Never
Holy crap!
heard of it.
Actually, I just saw some. Well,
Scott?
I don't know if it was a bar, but there's.
Ask
I
Scott,
just-
he'll get you.
I just saw something too. There's a new place that opened up called Ragnarok, axe throwing, and
Yeah.
you get to drink beer and throw
I
axes.
saw a
at-
place like that in North
yes,
Carolina.
it's called like
That's not a
Ragnarok.
liability.
Yeah, that
There's
didn't
no
sound like a
liability
problem
in
at
that one.
all.
Oh, it's beginning to be a huge
Their
thing across the
insurance has
country.
to be
Yeah.
crazy.
shit.
Axe throwing?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm
I
like,
heard
holy
it.
crap! There's axe throwing while I'm drinking.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
It's
great.
actually it's beginning to be a huge thing. What's that dude that plays Aquaman?
Oh my
Momoa.
god.
Jason Momoa.
Jason-
he's
Oh,
like
geez.
he's like their big
You know what's sad is I was
Oh,
the
the
first
girls
one
know
to
who
say
he is.
something.
I'm like, I need a minute. I need a minute. Just let me think about it for a sec. I need a minute over here. I'm like,
Yeah.
he's like their big promoter.
For what? Oh, the axe.
Really?
Yeah, the axe
Yeah,
throwing.
there's like
Yeah, he
one-
plays bass too.
There's
by
like
the way.
one main company.
That makes him even cooler.
Oh no, that puts him in the background.
and he
anyway.
talks. And he talks to fish.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, the dad bod is the thing nowadays. So
Sure.
no.
Yeah.
Say what you have to. That's the
No.
only reason why I went and saw the superhero deal with my son. I'm like,
Justice
I just want to see. Yeah, Justice League. I'm like, I just want to see fucking Aquaman.
You know they're coming out with Aquaman.
I saw
The
that
movie.
Yeah.
Like I watched the trailer. probably
Could you handle
10
2 hours
times,
of that?
so-
Or?
Oh, I can handle
yeah.
4 hours of that.
The seat might not be able to handle 2 hours. Of
Just keep moving down.
Just throw
Seat
this.
hopping.
Just go ahead and throw this seat out.
That's Aqua Girl for you right there.
For real.
Swimming away.
I think I need another beer.
I do think when that movie comes out, like the first 3 days of it, nobody's going to be able to get in, but it's going to be like 90% women in that movie.
No. It's going to be
everyone I know.
No, it's going to be a 50-50. Women
Yeah.
and their kids.
Well, actually, it'll be
Whatever.
it'll be women and a whole bunch of other nerds who don't know how to actually talk to women.
Right.
So what?
So you'll be there.
So is it going to be like a middle school dance where there's like a big divider line?
Oh yeah, everyone just stands along the wall with their hands in their pockets.
Carry on. Carry
She's
on.
getting
Hot
hot and
over
bothered already.
Oh, God.
Sorry, we had to turn the fan off because it made too much noise in the podcast.
So now, as we're sitting here looking at your shirt, who does your art? Because it has got to be one of the best in Indiana.
So like all the can art and a lot of our poster stuff is all done by a guy named Max Clark. And he's out in I think Brooklyn now.
Oh, really?
He's just
Really?
artist and musician out there, so that's a full-time gig. So
Yeah?
full-time I think musician, and I think he does our stuff on the side. So
How did that come about? How did you hook up with Matt?
he was from this area
Oh,
originally,
okay.
and then when we were first looking for artwork, we kind of put a thing out looking for artists, and some people like he actually didn't reach out to us. A friend of his was like, I think my buddy Max would be perfect for you guys, and sent us his like portfolio online, and we checked it out and really
And then
liked
you're
his
like-
style.
Yeah, he'd be
And then you're
alright.
like, does he work cheap?
Yeah.
Does he like beer? Does that
He
work?
likes
Pay him in beer.
I like the artwork on the cans. So
Yeah,
That's
awesome.
what we're talking about.
So yeah, he
That's
does
why
all
I
the
didn't want
cans,
a
and
glass.
he
I'm
does
like, I don't need a glass. This is awesome.
every new one like amazing me every time.
Did you send him the name and the beer and style and let him come up with a design?
For
Is that
most
what
of them,
he
yeah.
does?
Occasionally we have like something we actually want on, and we'll tell
Right.
him, and then he does it. But yeah, for the most part, it's let him run with it, and it's
I would-
always been awesome.
I mean, really, truly, you guys got to have probably the best art in Indiana that I've known.
Yeah.
And I love that we don't actually like put like in the front label of it. We don't put Burnham on the can. It's on the side in the description,
cool.
but
Oh, yeah.
you just always see
But you
the
know-
guy we call Mr. Burnham, the skeleton.
Yeah, when you see that
takes many
skeleton,
different
you
forms
know-
all
yeah.
over the place. So.
Yeah, you know it's Burnham.
Well, he does Fed head stuff too, right?
No.
No? Because I thought he does some of Robert's.
No, none of Robert's.
Just here.
Really? Just that one right there?
Well, no, and so this one and then the mural out front, it's done in like a similar style, but it's actually he's a local artist named Matt Rainey.
Oh, really?
Okay. I think his company's Blue Rectangle Designs.
Yeah, I was going to
But
say, I think
so
I know him.
He's got some artwork hanging in the brewery too for sale,
Okay.
just like the watercolors and
Yeah.
whatnot. But yeah, he did that, and then actually one of our guy Ryan Zarko that works in back, he built this table and then commissioned Matt to paint that painting for Feddersen, the one behind you there.
Well, you guys are always packed. I mean, it's Saturday afternoon. You guys are already packed up. What's the draw? What besides the great beer? Because you guys have a lot of events that go on during the week too, right? And if I know we talked about Robert Rolfe Feddersen and Vinyl Night. Is that one of your biggest nights?
Yeah, besides the weekends,
Yeah.
Tuesday is definitely like always pretty packed. Like it's in the summertime. Usually we'll move him inside in the winter.
Is that done here? Okay, so is that done here?
That's too fancy
Because he does a
pants.
show at the radio station or something on some nights,
Wednesdays.
too. Okay, that's
Yeah,
all
he
right.
does
Left
left
to
to center.
center,
Yeah,
yeah.
103.1.
He's
Okay.
everywhere.
And
Yeah.
we sponsor actually the left to center program.
Oh, you do?
So,
Okay.
so we're occasionally on there pretty often. Actually,
Yeah, I'm
we
not
go on
sure
there.
if-
At least almost monthly.
pretty
We're on that
often,
radio
yeah.
show. One of us goes out there.
You'd think he'd have like a camper by now or something, because I can't imagine he ever like stays in his own house.
No.
Nope,
he's
he
always
goes
on the
home
road.
every night. He
Does he?
never stays out.
Yeah, but he's like-
it's insane.
But he'll be like 4 hours. He'll be down in Indy. That's a 3-hour drive. Playing till
Tonight he's
midnight.
up in Holland, and then he goes to Hopler Brewing, which is down in like
So
Leesburg,
he
Indiana.
constantly comes back and goes back out.
and then he goes back home to Crown Point. Yep.
So he,
Damn.
Jesus.
I didn't
No.
think he owned a house.
I honestly, I wasn't sure.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
he is. That man is the epitome of hard work. Like you cannot.
Yeah.
Like
Oh yeah.
they play probably him and his wife play about 200 to 300
Yeah, he's
shows
always,
a year.
Yeah.
And he's one of the coolest people.
And then
you'll
on
ever
top of
meet.
Vinyl
Yeah.
Night and the radio show.
Have you guys met
Yeah.
Robert?
No.
You got it. Yeah.
Oh, you got to come out on a
First time I
Tuesday
heard
night.
about
And meet
it.
Come
Robert.
out on a
That's
Tuesday.
him in the skeleton form.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't look just like that. but-
Oh my God, he's,
just like that.
he's really old.
Yeah.
He's just one of the nicest guys you can meet, and he just
He
when he's
loves
performing, you can see it, and
everybody,
he just-
and
yeah.
he loves craft beer stuff. He'll come out with Terry, and then
Is he around Valpo at all?
He
plays here.
so his radio station's based out of Valpo.
Okay.
And then
That's why I was.
I don't know if
what?
how often he plays in Valpo or anything,
He's
but he
never- no,
plays
he's
all
always
over the place.
everywhere else.
He's big into breweries, playing a lot of breweries.
Always plays breweries.
Plays
I'll have to
Fair
look out
Oaks
for him.
Farms the first Thursday of every month, I think.
Just a nice guy. I mean, a great guy. Again, he brings his bulldog Honeybee with
Oh,
him.
yeah.
You know,
Oh,
you gotta love Honeybee, and
He's just
and
one
yeah.
of the nicest people you'll ever
Yeah.
meet.
yeah.
Yeah, you can just sit and chat to him all night long.
But he's here
He's
every
just a big
Tuesday
hippie.
from 4 to 10. So.
Well, then he plays, and you guys have that side
yeah,
band
then
or
we have the
whatever.
side band with him, Beer Hippies.
The Beer
and
Hippies.
He does.
And they're okay. Yeah.
That might be a Tuesday booze day one day, huh?
See, there you go.
Just
Yeah.
come right
They're-
up here,
they're right
after
here.
work.
That's
Yeah.
usually a lot of us here are hanging out that night too, and then we all bring some vinyls in. He usually brings a couple crates, and then
Really?
we have a
Yeah,
ton of
vinyl night.
regulars now that bring
Yeah.
vinyls in every week.
Oh, that's
and
so
there's
cool.
always a brand new one being opened every week too. And then
Oh, nice.
in the summertime we do from 8 to 10 an acoustic performance. So Bob will quit spinning at 8 o'clock, and someone else will get up there and play for a little while. So
Nice.
Oh, that's cool.
It's classic. Yeah, it all just fits well. It's
We
all
really-
all a good vibe.
Yeah, this has got to be something we get up to.
And
yeah, you guys got to make it.
You obviously
It's
have
hard
it's
that
a big
Tuesday.
local
I know.
event, so I mean, or a big local facility where you have a lot of support from Michigan City, right? I mean, this place is packed as soon as you open.
Yeah, I mean, our weekdays are a little more mild, and
Mhm.
because we were originally opened as a to-go shop, and
Right.
so we still do a lot of to-go sale out of here. And that's a good probably 50% or more of our business here, besides drinking in house. But we were only open for about 2 weeks as a to-go shop before people were wanting to
Like, can we
find
sip
like,
beer,
why can't I
please?
not have a
Camping
pint
out,
here?
waiting
So,
for you to open.
so we're like, all right, we built this patio that we're on right
Again,
now.
once again, that's a
perfect.
good problem to have.
Yeah, and then last
Yeah.
summer we only had the 8 seats inside, so we were just we can't really do much. But then the demand was there, so we
Yeah,
made it
yeah.
happen.
Make it happen.
So
Yeah.
you
we're-
have,
Good.
and we'll get into it. I think we'll go a little deeper into that. You want to take a break real quick?
Yeah, let's take
Yeah,
a break
let's
and
get some more beers
beers
out here.
in.
I'll get the little
We'll
flights
get the
going.
we'll get the
check out a
flights
couple
going.
things, you know?
Let everybody. Pink. Are you guys big beer drinkers or connoisseurs?
I
or
am a beer. I'm
Apparently
an
wine's-
alcoholic.
I'm up here. What?
And it's got alcohol in it. She likes it. I know where you're at. I get it.
But I do.
Sounded
But
like you were
I
going for
am
beer
like a
things.
brewery girl, though. I do
Okay.
like beer. So I was excited.
Okay.
And so
Yeah,
Well, good.
I've never drank beer when I was younger. It was just
says the Austrian with
Says
all
yeah,
the
the
that's
German
the
beers.
Austrian that is allowed
That it's
to go-
okay when you're 12.
Yeah.
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 No, never. Because the thing is, too, in Austria, the beers are very hoppy. They're
Yes.
very
Yeah.
bitter, and
Yeah.
I just don't
Yep.
like the very bitter beers. I
Yeah.
like
Okay.
like this one, the
Uh,
Mr. T is really good with like green tea and black tea, fresh fruits. You know.
So you like girly beers?
Yeah.
yeah.
I like Blue Moon.
She's
for
a cider
example.
girl.
I like
You
the
ciders.
sweeter.
And you know what?
sweeter beers.
Cider and mead
Stieglitz.
are actually really. You know,
Yeah, Stiegel,
there was always
exactly.
That's my favorite beer.
you know.
Oh, really?
I've been the brewer out in
Oh,
Austria, in Salisbury.
Ah,
It was
good.
amazing.
There you go.
There's nothing wrong with ciders and meads though either. We used to have a bad kind of opinion of those too, but you know, you get to some of the really good stuff like New Day and there's a couple more in town, but friends of ours.
New,
but
what was it? Yeah, New Day Meadery, and
Yeah, they
there's,
got some really
there's a
good
couple
beer
others.
downtown.
But yeah, there's that stuff's good.
Yeah.
If you, New Days makes their breakfast magpie is
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, in
phenomenal.
Valpo, we have the misbehaving meats.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
now,
love
which
Clint's
is
meats are
supposed to be real
amazing.
good
They are
too.
awesome.
So we've done a couple collabs with him too.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did a Burning Down the Hive was a bottle we sold in the wintertime. That was and it was a collab with, it was a strawberry double IPA we did that.
Oh.
Then he turned us a barrel that had less than 50% mead left in the barrel, and it was a strawberry mead, and then we filled it back up with the strawberry double
I bet that
IPA.
tastes
So it was a
nice.
blend.
So good.
That sounds
Hell yeah.
yum.
What do they call the cider
I
or
was
the
gonna say, do you
mead
have
and
any of
beer
that
blend?
sitting around?
No, I wish I did. When it ran out, I was very sad because I already drank mine that I brought home.
Aw.
Because it was, yeah, that was,
It was killer,
amazing.
huh?
Oh
Yeah.
god.
All right, well, let's take a break real quick, refresh our glasses, get some flights, and then we'll
Yes.
start sampling what Burnham has to offer.
Absolutely.
yeah.
Let's do
Cheers.
it.
Not
guys.
that we haven't
Cheers.
already.
Aloha, Pastor Poi, mahalo. It's Cluck for the Jason and Cluck Show, and this is the Blind Pig Confessions here on the internet. www.whatever.
This is Robert Rolfe Feddersen, and you're listening to Blind Pig Confessions. The bear eats the dude.
I'm Busey. This is Chili from Dos Ringos. You're listening to Blind Pig Confession.
Go, all right.
Hey, we
Stop fingering that cup.
are, oh shit.
You're not the boss.
Never
of me.
finger the cup.
Nicole,
Yeah, it's not wine, dude.
This is
two girls in a cup.
Yeah.
There you go. There's our next podcast.
There we are.
Sorry, I know you were supposed to come back
It's a
with that,
drinking
but it was
podcast.
happening.
Come on. Where are you guys' heads at?
It's me. Come on.
Yeah.
It's appropriate.
We are back at Burnham Brewery with the lovely ladies from the Pink Shots. So it's glad everybody's here. Jerry showed up. Thank God. Finally.
Jerry Henner. You the man. And don't forget Blake.
Hey.
Jeez. The guy who's providing all the beer
Like
today.
I said, bassist always in the background.
You.
Guys.
Thank you. My toe thanks you.
He's,
Al-
he's
always-
living the bassist life.
Once again. Come
Always
on.
the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Blake, are you married or your girlfriend?
Actually, I just got married 2 weekends ago.
Okay. So you have a
Congratulations.
awesome. So you have a place to live because
Yeah, of course.
because a bassist without a girlfriend is homeless.
Yeah, pretty much. Aw.
No, he owns a brewery.
Yeah, I can just live here. I have slept here.
there is a patio cover here.
Have the beer hippies played here? Or do you,
We played at one of our parties briefly, but
you don't even have them here
Briefly.
to play?
well, we're usually all working here.
Yeah,
It's hard to get out of that.
But we were talking about Jerry and the break because there's a connection here with Moser's and New Carlisle, and an incredible place that you turned me on to about probably a year ago, or after the Lions game we came back and ate there. It's amazing, but
Austrian
it has
food, always
yes,
good.
oh, it's really good, and they got Stiegel. But there's a connection here with Burnham.
Yep. So
Yes,
Stephen Blake and Danny, we all worked for Danny's mom, who had a catering business
For years.
and years. And so I think, were you the cook or was Steve?
Yeah, I always did the cooking for. And
Blake
then,
did the cooking, and then I think
occasional
Steve,
bartending.
Steve and Danny did a lot of
They did
running, and then in bartending, and I was a bartender.
We all set up tents and moved chairs
And
and
then we
tables.
just did a lot of hoofing at the end of the night to clean up. So,
then a
but
little drinking.
it was a lot of fun, and it was neat to have the connection. So, last night I was playing cards with Brendan, and he says, "Yeah, we're going to be doing it at Burnham." It's like, I know those guys. I said, "I'll show up."
You know, it's funny though. I was in getting him a beer too, and he meets another random guy that he knows.
It was Donnie. It was Donnie, who we
Donnie came
also
out
worked
here.
with. Donnie was another guy that we worked with. I was like, wait a minute, that's Donnie.
And
I
Donnie
haven't
helps
seen him
out
in
at all our parties and everything.
5 years. Hey, Donnie. Yeah, he was another cook. Yep. So, yeah, nice connection, and Moser, you
kinda
just
funny.
can't beat it.
No, that was it
Yeah.
was really good stuff. That was
Unless you
very
go
good.
to actual Austria and eat there.
I don't
Yeah.
know
Exactly. It's a slightly more expensive with the plane ticket.
yeah.
Yeah, we all went with the owner of Moser's, Werner Moser. We went back to his hometown like 8 years ago.
Oh no
Oh,
shit!
really?
And
Nice.
we took a pretty big group with us. I think it was like
Nice.
30 people. But
Holy
Oh,
shit!
sweet.
it
Damn.
was, that was 2
It's like
weeks
one of the
there. It
Ron,
was
it's
one of the
like,
greatest
it's like
times
one of
of
the
my life.
Ron Smith like German tours
Yeah.
or whatever for his beer MBA down in Indiana. Jeez,
By the way, we have to do that.
I think we should. Yeah, 'cause
And
it's like
I mean, it's not cheap. Don't get me wrong,
no,
but it's
but
cheap
he's out
for
there
what
for
it
like
is.
he's
Yeah.
out there for like 3-4 weeks with like people from his beer MBA class that he does at IUPUI.
And I can be gone for 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, it's a couple.
do it.
It's a couple grand, I think, just for the tour stuff,
Yeah,
and then
it's
you
not
gotta
bad.
buy you gotta buy your plane ticket, but then
I don't even think my kids will notice I'm gone at that point.
no, just tell them you're going to fix another elevator
Yeah.
in Germany.
Yeah,
Germany.
he's just working. It's okay.
Or Austria. Sorry.
Real.
I was gonna say you're crossing over there,
Well,
buddy.
I don't know where Ron actually. I know because like they just they go to the Pilsner Kel and they do
That's
they
in
do a
Czech,
big
yeah.
tour. Czech they do a Czech one, but he does a Germany one, and depends on where they do a long tour there. But it's actually looks like a really fun trip of just the old classics, where all the beer came from.
Where it came
You
from,
know?
right there.
So we are talking about beer right now. so-
Yes.
Yeah, and we have
Let's
some
speaking of
beautiful in
beer,
front of us.
Blake, what do we got?
No, before we get to that,
Oh, I'm sorry.
we got a nitro here that is fantastic.
I was gonna.
I
yeah.
cannot quit drinking it. I tried sharing it, but I've given up on that.
I actually put that one in the flight. So
Did you?
maybe we'll-
No, you didn't.
I didn't. So
Oh man,
maybe
it's
you guys just have to
solid.
share it.
That's where Mr. T is kicking my ass right now.
the one T
I'm
is
a very
kicking-
lightweight.
Are
so
you?
I'm a cheap
Well,
drunk.
you probably-
Like,
How
give
are
me a
you-
beer and a shot maybe,
All right,
and I'm
not-
good.
I mean, you weigh like 85 pounds.
Oh, you're so sweet.
You're not representing your country very well. Come on.
Yeah, I know.
I pick up her
know.
slack. Don't worry.
That's where I bring my.
And that
backup
person
right
over
there.
there slack, and that person over there slack.
Yeah, everybody's slack.
I like her. Oh, this nitro is fantastic.
What do I-
Nitro Pale Ale.
It's a ESB style. So
ESB, that's right. That's right.
Extra special bitter.
That nitro
is like
kind of
traditional like London pub ale essentially.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yes.
should be served on nitro or cask. And
Yes.
I mean, it takes over
someday we're gonna
every-
have the cask system. We don't have that yet.
That
but-
nitro takes over everything and like just really mellows it out. I mean, it's
Oh, yeah.
really,
Oh, yeah.
really light beer that I mean, almost nothing. I
Little
mean, you could
caramely
pound
and
those.
just- oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I think that would be a great crossover for people who,
This
just starting out in the crack because
absolutely.
it's light, but it's got a great flavor, and that creaminess is really nice.
Well, we've
And I usually
all,
don't like
we've
that
always
style,
heard
but-
though, like, so the ESBs tend to frighten people because you hear the word bitter in it,
Yeah.
and you're just like, I don't want that. You
But
know,
really,
but
like another name for it is like mild ale. Like,
Yeah.
is what they call
Yeah.
them over in like England. Usually, like stuff's just easy drinking.
I mean, it is. You could drink a bunch of those and then all of a sudden catch yourself in a really bad place.
Oh yeah.
so tell me exactly what's in that recipe. So
I wouldn't know actually.
He has no idea. All he knows is it's on nitro.
Yeah, that's my brother's. That's his pride
And
and
it-
joy.
I
that
mean,
one.
it
So that-
should be. It's
most beers
solid.
here we'll do like a nitro keg and do like
That's what I
regular,
was
then
gonna-
carbonate the rest regular. But with that one, we actually don't do
Anything
Yeah, we
else, yeah.
just nitro the entire batch. So we've
That's-
done it a few times.
yeah.
And that's all we do with it.
ladies, did you try that one yet? I know
No, I haven't.
No, I haven't.
we try that. So
Well, you don't want to share. I'll drink first.
yeah. Oh.
Good.
You did say that.
So
More for me.
Are you guys familiar with what I mean? And maybe
Oh, that's
Blake
really,
explain
really
it. You guys
good.
familiar with what
Like
the
girls
nitro
can drink
beer is
this.
different to the regular
No,
one?
I was just going to
No.
ask that question.
So,
For the
but you
beer
want to.
virgins, you
So
know.
yeah, they're a little. They're
Yeah.
they're
But
on
no,
ours.
that's super mild. Like I could drink that
Mhm.
all
We're a little
day night.
underinformed over
Yeah.
here.
Could you?
Super good. No, you would actually like that.
It's really
I think
light,
you could
but
do it,
that
yeah.
nitro brings
I
out.
think you could do
There's
it.
some hop there, but it's a balanced
Not like
hop,
this one.
and it's not super bitter. Nope. Almost.
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 You throw a nice raspberry in there and you got her.
Right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Might have some extra. In
Or an
there.
orange.
Do you have any
But
beer
then-
without hops?
We did
I
a
know.
0 IBU IPA recently.
How the hell do you do that?
We just
zero?
no hops in the boil or
So
process at all, but then we do a ton
secondary?
of dry hop, so
Oh.
you get all the aroma and everything, and it was like
Oh,
New
wow.
England style, but 0 IBU, no.
It's like it was an IPA, but
Ish.
interesting.
Ish.
It's odd. No
Now,
shit.
what did you guys use? If you don't mind me asking.
Hops wise,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be able to
These
remember off
guys
the
are
top of my
talking
head. We do so many
Chinese
different
here.
new ones.
we all right.
We have new beers come out every week.
Yeah.
So it's
You said this is your brother's. Do you have a style you kind of lean toward that you like to do?
well, I don't brew too much anymore.
No?
but
Oh, really?
back when we were homebrewing, I did quite a few of the recipes. But I don't know, when I write a recipe, it's usually I like writing stout recipes for some
Yeah.
reason. I don't know why.
Yes, I love those.
So our dark side of the brew, which is our oatmeal stout, that was one of my original recipes. And I don't write too many anymore though.
Did you have what was your aha beer moment for craft beer?
Oh,
Or do you remember?
I'm trying to remember.
He's
exactly,
drank way
but
too many
there
of
was-
his own beers to remember.
When I was like 18, and I was living with
Erased.
my sister and my sister and her boyfriend at the time, and a few other people would always. Some of their friends would always come over, and they would do like craft beer nights and always buy new ones,
Mhm.
and I would just get to try them, and so, and yeah. I
Just
don't really remember the first
was
ones.
the
that
whole
I really-
night.
I think the first ones I really started liking were oatmeal stouts and stuff.
Right.
And I remember Breckenridge Brewing Company's
Mhm.
oatmeal stout was one of the first ones I really, really liked. But yeah, other than that, it's all kind of a blur.
So I missed something on that. Like we went back, but the nitro part. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, when I was going to bring back a little bit to that. What does the nitro do for those who don't know?
So, like a nitro beer is basically just carbonated a different way than the other beer. So, so basically, normal we carbonate with CO2, and you can either do that naturally or like we do on a big production scale. We force carbonate.
Absolutely.
Now,
now, do you sit there and roll the kegs?
No, not anymore. Now we have a very expensive carb stone with tiny microscopic holes.
I just picture you here all night rolling kegs.
That shit was. Yeah, we used to like, try to shake that.
Yeah, it didn't
God,
work, did it?
No, it was moving
Once
up
e-
the
once
production.
ever
Now we can
7
like
of them
force
at work.
carb everything, and then we still actually force carb our small batches in keg.
Really?
But we
Nice.
don't really shake them. We just do a more of a low and slow method, like low CO2 going into it for multiple days, and then
Start out at like 8 and
then,
roll it up.
But then, yeah, so when we do a nitro keg, we, before carbonating the whole bright tank of beer, we'll take one keg off flat and then hook it up to a nitro tap for a few days as well, like 40 pounds of pressure.
Nice.
And it's a beer gas blend. It's not totally nitro, but it's like,
Right.
I forget, like 75-25 or something like that.
But what it does
With
to the
CO2.
beer is the bubbles are smaller. It adds a creamy. It'll take a regular beer or whatever you're using, and it just adds a creamier
Like mouthfeel
mouthfeel
yeah.
to it.
Yeah, I can
because
see-
a
I
lot
can
of
see that,
smaller
too.
the bubbles are more just smaller bubbles. It's a different kind of that carbonation, and it really just gives that
mouthfeel.
Mostly what you do, is you see a lot of. Usually, it was a lot of stouts and porters and things like that that they mainly did on nitros. But they've really after realizing, well, you can add it to almost anything and just get a wholly different beer out of it.
Right.
Yeah, we test out almost every beer we do
as a nitro.
Yeah,
why not?
Well, we have, and there's some who don't need to be done again.
Well, like even the fruit beers can do it, or even the fruit
we
blends.
do Nitro Mr. T actually quite.
Do you do a Nitro Mr. T?
That one's turns out pretty good.
Yeah,
I would say it has
the
to,
fruit
yeah.
ends up popping a lot more.
Yeah.
Like you get a lot more.
I'm gonna say it's amazing. You don't think it's a big difference, but it really does bring out different flavors and that.
It brings out that
Founders when they did their if you've had the Founders Rubaeus.
Yeah.
Their Rubaeus Nitro. Damn.
Really good.
It's just it becomes their Rubaeus is a super raspberry beer. You guys would like that one, the Founders Rubaeus.
Yeah.
But throw that on Nitro, and all of a sudden it's like
it takes some of that sweetness.
Yeah, it's
away
like
a
raspberry, but it's a little creamy. Almost like the kind of feel you get when you're like eating like a raspberry yogurt or something like that. It's just it changes it all.
Yeah.
So it's just fantastic. I do like the nitros, but there are some people. There's some that just shouldn't be, and there have been some bad ones.
We did like our light Pilsner Nitro, and it was like, why did we do that?
Why?
I know why. Because we can.
Because we can.
I need a Bud Light Nitro, please.
It was weird. It was like tasting like flat light beer. I was like, it just makes this Pilsner taste flat. Okay. Shit.
So now you did bring out, one that brings fond memories to me.
Oh no,
14 buck chug?
Yeah.
All right.
Is this this
I
one?
haven't.
This?
I don't think I've done this without
So-
chugging it.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
Nicole's doing the
chug
$7
it.
Still
chug.
chugging it. You only got a
So
couple
this
ounces
is-
there,
I
though.
know,
Have you
I've got
tried
like-
the 14 yet?
Not yet. I was waiting for the moment.
I have
you
a
should
feeling.
wait.
I have a feeling like at some point in our, if we do another show or whatever, Cowboy and Nicole are going to be doing a shotgun.
Yeah, and I'm gonna do it live on Facebook right here.
Do it.
We'll go in the back for that later.
I love how
Not on the.
everybody makes fun of me about killing myself, but then you
Yeah.
try to kill me for me.
Yeah.
You're in the
I put bad
encouragement.
ideas in his head.
Exactly.
I will say the $14 was one of my first ahas
it's a
from
hoppy
Burnham.
one.
Oh
That-
no,
that-
it's not. I
It's
like
not
this.
bad.
You
It's
don't
really
like you're,
nice.
it's not too hoppy
It's
for you?
not bad.
I
No.
like this.
It
It's
smells
def-
more hoppy than it actually is.
and it's
Yeah,
less
it's more
hoppy than the 7.
Citrusy and
Yeah.
a little bit of grapefruit.
Yeah, don't worry
Uh,
about it, Blake.
is
It's
this-
not bad.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
Is
I
this
like
a little
that.
more?
I like it.
Is this a dry hop? Mostly.
Well, it's
more
all
in the-
Citra hop, so
Okay.
a few stages in the boil,
Yeah,
and then a
absolutely.
ton of. We do a very heavy dry hop of Citra.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So
it's a
what's
great
the
beer.
what's the worst concoction you've ever put together?
Me?
No, not you.
We did a beer called
Boone's Farm.
Soup Kitchen, and it was terrible.
Soup
but-
Kitchen.
Soup Kitchen.
Some people could drink it. I don't know. It was my idea, and I did it. I don't know why.
What was in it?
Everything that
About 4. It was a 15-gallon
Chicken
batch, and I
stock.
did about. It was a brown ale, and we did it with like some like really low acid French hops, and then we did
And then
4.5 pounds of caramelized onions into it.
Oh my god.
It was like French onion soup was the goal, but.
Oh my god.
That's pretty spot on. It was French onion
Yeah,
soup.
it came out,
It was
right?
not a
Yeah.
good drinking beer, but like it made the best.
But when you heat it
brats.
up and put some cheese
I
on
was
it,
gonna say if you put some bread.
Oh,
with
you
it,
boiled
it was
brats
really
in it. It was
good.
amazing. But
Yeah, that would be no
Or
shit.
beer
yeah, no
cheese.
business drinking that.
the only people that ever make a beer specifically just to boil brats.
Right?
Yeah,
We sell it in the can.
We ended up
Actually,
taking it off tap and just used it for cooking for a while.
That'd probably be a huge seller. Market it as
Yeah.
Like
Actually,
a
here's
beer.
But while it was on tap, people came in and I remember one guy drank like 3 pints of it, and I'm like, wow.
I think he's lying. I
Now,
think
time
he
out, time out.
I think
Was
he
it
had
on
it
sale?
backwards. I think he has it backwards.
What?
I think he boiled his brats in some beer and then
And tried to
bottled
sell
that
it.
shit.
Oh.
We did that. We
I
did that
cooked those
to.
onions for 6 hours before doing it.
We did that
They
to.
were
We did that to a buddy of ours.
slow cooked onions or just
We actually
Real
we actually
caramelized.
did that to a buddy of ours like 5 Memorial Days ago. We took the beer that we brewed the brats in and poured it back in a frickin' bottle.
Shut up.
Yeah, I think we actually gave it
Who
to
was
Sam.
that?
I think we gave it to Sam.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me.
That's awesome.
But we made him drink, and he's like, because we put it back in the cooler too, so all the like fat and stuff had started to congeal in the beer.
Oh, that would just freak me out getting like chunks out of a beer.
So it was delicious.
Then he got salmonella poisoning, and he's no longer with us. But it was fun.
Rest in peace.
Glad you all got a laugh out of it.
Actually, it might have been you, Cowboy. I don't know.
No, that wasn't me. I'd remember that.
You think?
Not after that point. No, not by that time.
Yeah. Well, no. Usually, if I throw up, I remember everything.
Man,
True. That is true.
I always remember everything.
Really?
And Nicole
That's-
doesn't like it.
Oh, that's horrible.
Oh. She always
fucking
forgets things.
horrible.
Yeah?
And then the week after I ask her, there's one story. I don't know if are you guys ready for the
Absolutely.
story?
No, we'll
Go
tell
for
it later.
No?
Come
I
on.
disagree.
Let's just stick with the beer.
Okay.
All right,
We'll do that on
Let's
show
stand
2.
before
Okay,
it
wait,
gets
I
warm, I
want to
guess.
know this
So
one.
episode
Number
2?
4. What's the? Is it coconut or coconut?
Coconuts. So that's
Coconuts.
actually that's a summer seasonal we do. We can and we brew and can it between April and October.
But is there like a coconut in there?
Well, it's an oatmeal pale ale, and then we finish it with a shit ton of toasted coconut.
All
So
right, I'm
it's,
gonna try it.
I don't think I've
and
ever
I hope
had a-
everyone's okay with sharing.
I don't
We're
think
just
I've
only
had a
got the one
coconut
little cup.
pale
We're
ale.
just go around the table with it. Go that way.
I like
Ooh.
it.
Oh.
So that's
Never mind. Let's go to the next one.
so that's a big seller for us in the summer.
I
so.
like
Yeah.
that. No, you'll like it, Austrian, for sure.
I don't know, Jordan.
Austrian.
Jordan wouldn't like
It's
that
what
one
I
because he
refer
doesn't like
to.
the coconut, right?
Yeah.
And
No, it's not super. It's mild.
Yeah, it's got a hoppiness to balance the coconut.
oh.
It does like
Very
it.
good.
I
See, we're gonna
Very
find a
good.
bunch of beer she likes. This
Yeah.
is awesome.
yeah. See, and this is one of my favorite things to take people that don't normally like beer
Yeah.
to a brewery and say,
Yeah.
try this, try this.
No,
You know
that's
what?
really
Well, also,
good.
Oh, it's a
you're
passion
saying-
of mine when someone brings in like
Oh,
someone that's like,
absolutely.
oh, well, they're not a beer drinker. And I'm like, well, step up to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
right.
gonna- You're gonna
We're gonna
leave
find
one.
something.
Yeah, you're gonna leave a beer drinker.
The thing is, I always need a notepad and write down what exactly it was because
Right.
I never remember. I go to a restaurant and I'm like, do you have this? No.
Don't
Do you
worry,
have
we
this?
don't either.
No.
Well,
You
especially
know.
with our beer, we're so varietal, and a lot of it doesn't make it out into the States so much. So
Right?
unless you're
No,
coming
that's
here,
so
this is
good.
where you find the weird
I mean,
stuff.
that's
Yeah.
perfect.
I'll
Tastes
gotta
come
make
here
it up to our
then.
tap room.
I'll
That
come
beer's
here.
perfect. Tastes just like suntan lotion.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly, right?
Yeah, it's amazing.
I know. It tastes like the summer.
You can have
It
Nicole.
tastes like the summer.
I'm drinking it all.
No, that's solid. I mean,
But
I get the rest of it.
I was just going to say, as the sixth drinker of the same glass, my immunity system is tip-top now.
Heck yeah. It's
we
like a
share the
vaccine. It's like a
biopool, you
beer
know?
vaccine right there.
no, that's super solid. It's not overly sweet. It's not.
No, it's
It's
not.
not knocking you in the face with suntan lotion like you do
Yeah.
with a name like
No.
coconut.
Yeah.
When a lot of people
Yeah.
always expect with coconut beers
Yeah.
to be dark beer, and that's
You get
that was
it.
his. This was actually one of our brewer Rob's concoction, but this was an old home brew recipe, so that was one of the old
And
ones.
you get a little bitterness out of it. Kind of bring some of that earthiness. Man, it's
It's
solid.
actually, we're
Corn.
doing a good job because the first two that we're gonna taste,
Yeah.
we did the coconuts. Now we're gonna
Doing
try the cream corn.
I know. I'm like
Oh my
super
God.
light.
she's been just jonesing for the cream corn one.
So that's everyone's first reaction. Is always like, huh?
Oh my god.
But then
I've had
just
worse things.
Try it. You
Do
might-
it, Nicole.
I've had worse things in my mouth.
Oh.
Wow.
Yes.
okay.
Me
And that's
too.
just today.
Yes.
No, it's usually the third. That's the third show of the day.
Okay, it does not taste like cream corn. It's actually good. So
No, see?
Does it smell like cream corn?
Wait a
though?
minute. Time out. I love cream corn. I will eat
so do
cream.
I, but I don't want to drink it.
I never
would.
had cream
but
corn.
no, but
You've
it
never
does.
had cream
Ever.
corn?
Don't.
Oh
can't
my
stand
god.
it.
I love cream corn.
But-
How do you have her as a friend and she's never had cream corn?
She has lots of
How are you
good
guys from Indiana?
qualities.
You don't like cream
I
corn?
I
know,
have
right?
a lot of
I'm not from
thirst
Indy.
over here.
Okay.
You
I'm
know?
from Michigan.
My husband,
Touche.
who's sitting back there, he's like, "Have you seen that movie?" And I'm like, "No." Oh shit! He's like, "We got to make a list." I'm like, "I know."
Okay, there's no corn to that taste though.
So it's a very small amount in terms of like the batch size.
Like
I
when you
guess,
said
but
that, I thought I was gonna drink like cream corn.
yeah, it
like,
just
you know
adds
what I
like kind of
mean?
a mild.
So we're
sweet-
not-
It adds a mild sweetness
Like
into the
a
beer and a little
chunky
bit of the.
shot
If you,
type of
the
thing.
nose kind of has a little bit of the scent of the corn, but
Mhm.
other than that, it's
No, but it does not.
it's just
kinda-
a little residual sweetness kind
I'm
of.
kind of
in there.
upset that I'm not going to be drinking cream corn.
Wasn't there a
We can make a band.
wasn't there a festival or wasn't there a
Yeah,
Here in
the corn
Indiana,
maze.
there's
is that
a
corn?
corn
But where they
somewhere.
concentrate on the like, but
Yeah, the
the
corn
key is
maze.
everybody brews like a corn based beer, which is
Oh, there's a
Really?
brew fest. At it?
there,
Yeah.
not. I don't know if it was a fest, but it was a couple
it's-
years ago. There
yeah,
was something
450.
where
450 does it.
450.
Yeah,
did.
450
Well, they do
corn
the corn
maze.
maze, but
That's
I don't
what
know.
that whole premise is.
Okay,
I think they might have
Isn't
got
it?
some cream corn from us for that.
Yeah.
Probably.
but that's a big thing on
I don't remember.
trying to brew because you don't traditionally brew beer with corn.
Yeah.
but their grain bill is I mean, it's,
Well, and then corn was used a lot in like Prohibition times.
Right.
So
Mhm.
when like
Right.
malts and stuff were becoming a lot harder to
I
get.
bet the Amish still brew
And that was one of Indiana's
yeah.
first beers, right? Cream ale was the first Indiana
I think so, yeah.
beer style.
This is the Amish.
That I don't
drink
know
of
about
it's
choice.
Amish
It
drinking.
makes
yeah.
sense.
I'm pretty sure that's why Sun King originally came out with what they did.
Okay.
They're
Yeah.
like, shit, we've been making this for 20 years.
Yeah, but their problem is it's like they don't got electricity. Their beers are always warm.
That's solid, dude.
They go with the old school, like ferment. You know.
And I mean, I would much rather have that over Sun King.
That was
the
no.
cream
It
ale.
is a
yeah.
good beer. It's a good beer. It's a light one. Is that one of your transition ones or?
Yeah, so that's one of our. That was our original first big seller that we've had, and it's still a steady seller. But like I said, the $14 chuck has taken over in that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the flight I brought, I wanted to bring a couple out the more regular one. So the coconuts
Okay.
is a summer seasonal, but it's one we've been doing since we've been open. Same with the cream corn. And then the next two on this list are a little different.
I'm not a big.
So this is Baba Yaga, which we just released yesterday, which is our Baba Yaga.
Baba Yaga.
And it's a Russian Imperial Stout.
Say after I drink it, like
and
Baba Yaga.
It's brewed with Smuggler's coffee
Just
and
shove that
hazelnut.
Just shove that big dark thing in your mouth.
Yeah,
that's her job.
It's only about 9.8%.
Oh, there you go.
Whoa, Nicole, way to go there. Thanks.
Really?
Have you
You've been
not
doing
met me?
you've been doing a show with her for a year or whatever,
I
and
know.
that was mild. I'm pretty sure to the several shows I
I
already
have
listened to.
no idea.
Oh no.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you listen, you do.
I've listened to a few. Yeah, I've listened to some of the shows, and because I was worried. I do
tame.
research.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure where you guys were at in the inappropriate.
Very.
Scale.
We were like
Let's see
on the
everyone's
red
thoughts.
scale.
Yeah,
like,
I
all
did.
the
I
way
had
on
nothing.
top.
I had no idea walking into this.
You had no basis. You're like, oh shit.
I've warmed up though.
Okay, I was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, drink it, please.
Because I was more
Free
worried
spilling.
about Cowboy. Don't offend the ladies.
Yeah, that's what he said earlier this morning. Yeah.
Yeah. Then some of the first things I hear are out of them.
Say anything, like,
No,
you
I wanted them to
cannot-
learn from themselves.
No, yeah, we are hard to offend. But you
Well, I
better
know
be
you,
careful.
but I wasn't sure about
Now I take that as a
Yeah,
challenge.
you guys are all following our motto though.
So how's the beer? Have you?
She's on her
How's
second
that?
drink.
How's the Baba
I
Yaga?
had to take 2 drinks.
Oh darn.
Just because. I mean, it's for being a chick, it's not bad. I mean, I like coffee though, so I like it.
See, I don't like coffee.
Well, in the Russian Imperial, it's a thick. They're
it's
usually a
not-
thicker
it's still
beer.
moderate.
Yeah, a little
you know,
heavier.
it's
Heavy, a
a
little
lot
sweeter.
heavier.
Ooh, that's very coffee.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
it
but
is.
I'm saying, but it's still not like.
If you like coffee and beer, this is perfect.
Yeah,
Gosh.
that's my Sunday morning beer.
Yeah, breakfast beer. There.
That's Jerry.
With a donut?
Jerry's all excited. Thank God. Yeah.
With a donut or something? Gosh,
yeah.
this pairs perfectly.
We actually did an entire show on donuts and beer.
Really?
Oh.
With
good.
Quack
Quack Daddy?
Daddy
Quack Daddy,
donuts. And
No, that's really
hands
good.
down, all the beers. If you're eating donuts and drinking beer, you got to go with stouts and porters. You know, we tried some of the lighter ones, and I think maybe a saison would have been good with a couple of them because kind of got that orange
yeah.
juice kind of
Yeah, it was
thing.
like a
But hands down, you're drinking stouts and porters and eating donuts.
I can
With
do a black and
desserts, yeah.
tan every once
That
in
is
a while.
I
fantastic.
just released that in
Car bombs?
bottles yesterday.
Dude, that is
Car
that
bombs?
That is fantastic. No, you
So
throw
it's
car
gross.
bombs out the window.
This is a funky color, so explain to me why this is.
Wait
like,
a minute. Let's talk about the
Hold
other
on,
beer
wait
first.
hold on, slow down.
Baba.
You were.
Damn.
She's like,
Oh, I
next.
keep
She wasn't kidding about it.
I mean, I thought I was an
booze.
alcoholic. That's almost got like a peanut buttery taste.
You
at the
have
end.
another beer you can drink for now
Yeah,
while we're
it
talking.
does.
Fine. God.
Cowboy, I'm pretty sure Nicole will train you.
Yeah.
So I'm,
No.
You can be her apprentice.
apprentice my ass.
so the,
We'll see who throws up first tonight.
oh,
Oh, boy.
go shot for shot.
You're messing with
Oh,
the wrong pink.
Emmett says his
buddy.
wife.
Yeah,
No.
no.
Emmett says his wife.
I've got some moonshine upstairs.
Oh,
Okay,
hey.
fine.
Well, you did just
Oh, that
touch
draws
on
a line,
Cowboy's
apparently. God.
button there. That's a-
You had to do something with the rest of that cream corn.
Yeah, but the beer was solid.
I wish I
That
had
was
a
Go
still.
back to the
amazing.
Baba then. Carry
Baba
on.
was amazing. It's almost got a peanut buttery aftertaste.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on what roast we did with, but it's a Smuggler's Coffee, and they're out of Lowell, Indiana. So,
Yeah?
Northwest up here, and really nice coffee though that they do.
Where
that
do they
is-
smuggle from?
Probably over the state.
Canada.
Oh,
Canada. They
Great.
come down through those Great Lakes, yeah.
Okay, time out. So
If it's from Canada, I don't want anything to do with it.
No.
Too bad. You already said you liked it.
so the pink shots are we're from Valpo, so we're close to Lowell. So is it a coffee house in Lowell?
They do have a cafe, I believe.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know because I kind of like that. I kind of liked it.
Smugglers.
I would drink your coffee.
Are you going to do another speed dating thing at the coffee shop?
Yeah,
we
we might.
need to do it at a fucking bar.
Yeah, we
There
need
you
to
go.
do it
Yeah.
somewhere where they
No,
have
because that's
beer.
going to go wrong. That's going to go south after
That's
Exactly.
fantastic about it. That's the best part of it.
Pat's asking for a friend.
All those
It shows up with a
poor-
fake mustache.
Yeah, it's Jerry
Really
over there.
mustache,
I'm asking for Jerry.
yeah. Jerry needs to know. Yeah, that's it.
God, I had to
And
do
what time
all
again?
those days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to do all the guys. She's like, Nicole, you have to be the one that
You have
takes-
to do all the
I have
guys.
to do all the guys. I'm like, fine, if you make me.
Well, you got to test drive the vehicle. You know
That's
what I mean?
not speed dating.
Well, Well, it depends on how good they were.
Blake, are you scared yet what you signed up for on this show?
I had no idea what I was getting in for.
I swear to you, this woman keeps me married. Because all the stories I hear, I'm like, God damn, I'm so happy I'm married.
Emmitt, you better thank Nicole.
Yeah.
No, he does. That's why he drives me around.
Yeah. Sure does.
He's like, God damn. All right.
Where the hell were we? I don't even remember.
Coffee beer. Coffee beer was very
Go to
good.
the next
Fun.
sample.
It's like
What
peanut
was the
butter.
what was the
There's
original?
hazelnut in that.
Okay,
So that'll be that little nuttiness you're
Okay.
getting.
I mean,
But
at
it's
the
light,
very
though.
end, I taste peanut butter. Not, I mean, I'm a
it's a
huge
hazelnut.
peanut
It's the
butter.
hazelnut. I get
It's a
it,
hazelnut.
but it's
Now-
light enough to not.
We've done peanut butter beers, but
Well,
we usually use that powdered PB2
Yeah,
stuff.
PB2, yeah.
That's the best way to get it, because otherwise you're getting like
Well, the
oil and
extract,
then
the oil, the extract
Absolutely,
oil.
yeah.
So yeah,
kills a lot of your
Yeah.
like the head retention
Why
on beer.
can't you
and
do like a peanut butter and jelly?
There's people that
I
do
have
it.
had one. We haven't done one, but I've had one.
I'm
Bare
saying.
Hands did a really good one out in
Yeah.
the Granger.
Yeah.
They did like a whole series. I think they did multiple like different flavors,
Yeah.
like grape
That-
and strawberry.
Yeah,
That would be really cool.
I think the
though.
only one I had was like that orange marmalade and peanut butter.
I don't think I had the orange one.
Mm-hmm.
Just this girl's suggestion.
What was the original Burnham beer? What was the first one?
Well,
I thought
actually,
it was the cream, and it's not
so
the cream corn.
It was a beer Vana, which is just kind of like an amber ale. It's pretty like we still brew it pretty often though. Actually, that was probably the first recipe. That was the first recipe we actually wrote, because like we started out homebrewing, we were doing some kit stuff, and then we wrote that as a recipe. But that was still on extract. Then we wrote a few more extract recipes, and then when we switched over to all grain brewing, the first brew we ever did on all grain was Dark Side of the Brew Stout.
Okay.
Other than that, yeah,
Quit
yeah,
cleaning
Beer
up.
Vana was the first one.
The woman in me.
What's the
Mom.
Burnham goal? 'Cause I
Yeah, I was
see
gonna say it's not
first
the
sale
woman,
over
it's
here. You
the
guys gonna
mom.
buy all this and knock it down and keep getting bigger? I mean, you guys are
We
growing
do.
this
We're,
place
we're,
already.
yeah, we've maxed out here. I mean,
Yeah.
we just added another patio out front to make more room for people in the summertime. That was last summer. But then, yeah, we're maxing out here, and we're looking at other options.
Come
but-
down to
What do you
Balboa.
do in the winter? And I was going to ask. I don't know if I brought that. What do you
Well,
do
the
with this
patio
in the winter?
we're on right now, we fully tent it and heat the patio, and it's actually we'll put another top canopy up too, so it's
Okay.
about twice as large as what we're sitting in right now.
Okay.
You can come down to my front yard in Valpo.
Yeah.
I'm like, bring your shit
Get a
down
heated
there.
tent?
It's just a great beer.
Oh, thank you.
So you guys
we have a great
sell
market
this-
in Valpo, actually.
You sell this by the keg too, right?
Yeah,
if
so
I
we're,
come
that's
here-
how we started doing keg distribution to bars and restaurants first before doing any type of packaged products.
Are you going to do
Okay.
any liquor stores, like small, Like,
We do sell the liquor stores all over the
I'll just
state
come up
too.
here and pick it up.
But it's always cheapest
Yeah.
here. You're never gonna get the cans cheaper than in house here.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Not taken away
yeah,
from
we'll come
that.
just
But
right
there,
here.
I mean, if you're in Valpo and like the Trail Inn Liquors and
Yeah. I got
a few other guys out there too.
Well, now
I don't
I
do
know
the
to
distro
look
part,
for
but I try to keep a good amount, but I don't know all of them.
I'll just come visit you anyway.
Yeah, just come back up here. Come on a Tuesday for Vinyl Night.
So we're getting close. What's our last beer for
So,
our
yeah,
try-in? We're getting close to, near we got to end our
This is
show.
what I wanted to know, the difference, like, for a girl's perspective. Why is it, like, a different color?
Well, it's a nice light yellow because it's a very light pilsner. It's only about like 4.5%.
Which one's this?
It's
Spruce?
Sprucealicious.
Oh.
So this is a
Give
weird
me
one.
that one.
Because we do this one only once a year because at the end of spring, early summer, we go out and pick spruce tips off blue spruce trees.
Oh, really?
100% blue spruce trees. But the tips, when they're first sprouting, they're not spiky and they're like they're still like piney
It's a
and
tree-
everything, but they're a
it's a
little
tree
fruity.
flavor.
So does
It's
this taste
got-
like gin?
It's got, like, a boop at
A
the
little,
end.
little hint
I
of
do
like
like
gin
it though.
and pine.
I like
really?
it. Yeah.
I
So,
didn't- I wanted
like
to
Black
pick that
Circle
for
does
you.
one of these, like the Spruce and Juice.
Yeah.
Black Circle over in Sobro does one.
Love
And
Black Circle.
That was one. That was
Those
one of
guys are
my first. That was the first time I'd heard of like a spruce one, and I was blown away by it. I'm like, who the hell thinks to put tree tips in my freaking beer?
So we went to high school with a family out here in Rolling Prairie, and they have a Dudex Pine Country. It's a Christmas tree farm, and that's where we go. We hit them up every
Christmas
spring,
beer?
and we go out there and get.
Now, do
no,
you
we
tell
only
them?
do it in summer actually.
you
Really?
tell them-
do it in the winter and then, like,
We can only pick the spruce tips they're usually like late April, early May.
Oh, really?
Is when we can go pick them, or a little bit after. This year it was a little later, but
So now, do you tell them before you go, or?
yeah, we don't just go raid his
Steal 'em.
field.
No, I think
He usually brings us out on his tractor.
I think one thing, the only thing I will say on that, I think, is we let it sit out too long. I think that's a cold one.
Yeah,
that
that should
needs
be
to be.
nice.
That really, it would, and for
Yeah.
the beer virgins and stuff, don't know a lot. The beers need to be
Oh, they're
at
not
the right
virgins.
temperature. I
Yes.
said beer virgins.
virgin and my name have never been in the same sentence since like 19.
That's why I didn't actually say your name.
87.
All right, so I was really scared on that beer when I started hearing.
I was too.
Yeah, you haven't had the spruce and juice at Black Circle?
No.
Wow.
No.
Yeah,
So that's
awesome.
a very mild spruce. So we do that one a big batch every year. So I think, and we end up probably. I think we picked like 45, 50 pounds this year or somewhere around there.
I was picturing a lot more
for sure.
like gin flavor.
Yeah,
and
we did a small batch with
thank
spruce, and we
God.
did a lot more like per barrel, like
Yeah.
spruce tips added in, and that one was a little more piney.
That's fantastic.
That's a Christmas
solid.
beer.
Yeah, but we've been doing. I think that's the second year we've done that one, or
it's good.
possibly third, but it's
We
been
make
really good.
schnapps with pine.
Really?
What?
Yep.
Who the hell makes
yeah.
schnapps with pine?
Austrians make schnapps out of everything.
Well,
Like-
yeah.
When I was over there, I had the
Walnuts,
bird
pines.
berry schnapps. It's like the little red berries that are poisonous to eat, but they made schnapps out of it.
Yeah.
And that'll knock you down. It is really
It's funny because I brought the schnapps over here
It's
from
not the
Austria. My
same.
parents bring it over here. You know, they put it in like
The
little
red berry one?
plastic-
The-
No, just
No,
every
just schnapps.
like
Everything.
raspberry schnapps and walnut schnapps.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
Walnut? What the?
black
Well,
walnuts.
They bring
It's
it.
delicious, dude.
It's funny because they bring it over here, and then someone would come to my house, and I'm like, I have schnapps, and they drink it like a shot, right?
No, you're not supposed to.
Like
You're
real
not-
quick. It doesn't take a lot.
Schnapps is not a shot.
Image rolling
and
his
this
eyes
isn't
right
like
now.
American schnapps.
That's
Like
where he turns over.
it's not like your butterscotch schnapps. No, there's schnapps in Austria is.
This is what it's like.
we didn't get
my
video of that,
God.
but
Yeah.
We'll play it later.
Emmitt likes it.
Yeah, they're.
we'll animate
pretty
that.
No, when you
much.
get the really good made ones, they're so good.
Yeah.
So is it as heavy or syrupy?
It's
as-
like dessert.
You know, when
It-
schnapps, I think, are
It's
just too
very,
No,
sugary
it's
and
very
heavy and
syrupy. So what you do is you take corn schnapps. What is it? Gosh.
Which is
You
basically
take
like malt
corn
liquor.
schnapps
Or
and
not
you
malt
put all kinds of herbs in there. Like you can buy the packaged dry herbs that you put for whatever schnapps.
Right.
And then
I
for
gotta-
the walnut schnapps, for example, you take the walnut that's still green from the tree, like you
Really?
pluck it off. You put it in a big jar like this big and set it in the sunlight for like 3
Without
to
like
6
without
months.
like cracking it open even.
Yeah, no.
Oh, so you want the fruit, not the meat inside?
Yes,
You don't want the
it's-
meat from the nut.
No, it's just
Nuts from them.
it's just the
I have
taste.
never said
And then
that.
you set it by the window in the sun over winter, and by spring, you just filter out all the bad stuff, obviously,
Right.
and the brown juice.
What's
is
bad
left
stuff?
over.
If we filtered
you know
out,
the
if
herbs
we
and
filtered
stuff.
out the bad stuff on this show, they'd be.
I would
nice.
never. I wouldn't have anything to say.
Same.
I was gonna say I kind of sip on that bad stuff.
Right.
But no, yeah. My parents, I grew up in Germany for a few years, but even that whole thing, my parents brought back schnapps, and it was big on German beers, and even growing up, I would just sneak, we were back in Indiana, and I'm still sneaking dad's beers and stuff, and I love all that stuff. I see people drinking a schnapps like a shot, and you're sitting here going, what the fuck's wrong with you?
Yeah. This
That's
is
a
not
sipper.
for-
That's
yep.
a sipper,
Say
or
Danny's own
or
one,
a
like-
mixer of something if you're going to do it. Like I like in this we were talking
chocolate,
about on the way,
yeah.
hot chocolate, some peppermint schnapps, and some
Yep.
Baileys.
Yeah.
That's a damn good wintertime drink.
Yeah, go to her house and have her give it to you, and you're like, she's like, if she doesn't like you, she's like, here, have some schnapps, and you're like chugging it, then
No.
you're like puking on her bathroom floor.
No.
I'm
She
not
speaks
speaking
from
for
experience.
Oh, so she doesn't like you.
I think she just likes to get at me every once in a while.
Probably, yeah.
She
She
likes.
deserves it too.
No, she just likes you to get handsy.
She just wants to hear how much I love
Wait, which one's the
her.
handsy one when they get drunk?
Oh,
okay,
gosh.
Cowboy, you found a friend.
Yeah.
That's why I said he's my animal
You guys are
spirit.
going to be the ones dancing with each other when you're drunk, like, ooh.
No, that's me. And Cowboy.
Oh, boy.
Oh, it gets weird. Blake, did you have fun, man?
I had a great time today.
It was good, man. We appreciate it. Pink
This
shots,
has been fantastic.
ladies.
Thank
I hope
you.
you had some
My
fun.
beer
Yeah.
virgin over here, she did a good job.
Yeah.
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 I'm
I
kind
think
of
we've
getting
got-
warm over here.
I like
It
that
is.
you didn't say no to a beer.
Oh, heck no. I try
Yeah?
anything.
Yeah, I
Uh,
like that.
No, I like- you like-
her
ended up
lip
liking a lot of
curled
them,
on a
huh?
couple, but
Yeah.
No,
but I tried.
Yeah, but she tried. I'm proud of that.
But I think it's important, as and if you guys do more, if you guys start doing some beer shows, which I think you really should, because the community is awesome.
Right.
But if you do some of these, you'll start to pick up.
Wonderful industry.
Because I know you said you don't
Yes,
like
yes.
hoppy beers, but it's a difference to that hop. Which hop you don't
it's like? You like
Right.
14 Buck Chuck, which is
You like
which is different than the Southern.
Very hoppy beer,
But you can
just put
actually
in different
have
times.
a good
But
hop
that's
beer,
finding a lot.
but it's still super juicy, or there's no bitterness to it. So as you learn more about that, which I've done over the last 2 years, I didn't drink beer. I hated beer.
Really?
Yeah. I drink vodka, but for years and years and years. Now I
Right,
drink whiskey
right,
and beer.
yeah.
Because I grew up.
Beer has converted him to whiskey, man.
It has. I drink whiskey and scotch all the time now.
And it's weird. He
I
doesn't
think
suck as much dick anymore.
It's an acquired taste. Both of these things.
Scotch or beer or dick? Which
Love
one?
you, Pat.
Wow. You need to get to the poorhouse.
Yeah, we're on
Poorhouse?
tap of there, I believe.
Are you really?
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say in Valpo.
Yeah, we're on tap at
downtown.
Valpo.
We
Wait,
have
yep.
the poorhouse.
The whorehouse?
Oh, that's what I heard.
My
Whorehouse.
house. The poorhouse.
I really thought you said whorehouse.
That's what I said too.
Like, pack them up, boys. Let's go.
What are we doing here?
Are those legal in India?
Why do you think I set up this equipment to tear down and set up in 15 minutes?
Because of whorehouses?
Just because it came from my mouth does not mean it said whorehouse. I meant the poorhouse in Valparaiso
That's
downtown.
what you meant, but that's not what you said.
No, I'm gonna make people.
Freudian slip.
I'm gonna put a survey up when we put this show out and say, what did she say at 59, 20, and 20 seconds?
Fake news.
Thank you. That's why I love you so much. So
CNN.
you are at the poorhouse.
Yeah, we're on tap there.
Okay,
usually.
which is a
I
very-
think he rotates a bit, but I think we
Well, if I
usually at
would
least
have
one on
known
there.
that, so now I can look for it because we go there on
If you're
occasion.
in Valpo, you can find us at we're on tap at Main and Lincoln.
Really?
Stacks usually, but he
Really?
rotates out a lot. But we're good at time on there
And you got
Poorhouse.
Monon Beverage Brokers helping distribute
down
some
in
of your
Indy,
stuff down in
Yeah.
Indy area all over. But
They're okay people.
Yep.
Yeah,
All right.
those guys are they're all right.
But you got to
Sean
get to
posts
the
too many
brewery.
memes.
Everybody,
Get
you
up
have to
here.
get to Burnham because it's a cool place, and you're turned down by the artwork from all the cans are awesome. So
It's
they're going to
fantastic.
stand out when you see them on the shelf. But you have to get to the brewery because it is a cool place, and man, summertime you can't
Especially
beat
on
this.
a
is
Saturday,
awesome.
like
That's a beautiful
today.
day today, too.
Perfect
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is perfect.
Yes.
It's we had to turn the fan off. It's but
It's
the wind's
still
still
not
blowing.
hot.
We
the
didn't even
wind's
have
still
that
blowing
fan
through.
till like 3 weeks ago, so
No one would know.
we're slowly upgrading.
We heard you guys. We heard you guys were coming, so we went to class up to join. We got a fan.
with the industrial
One
auto
fan.
now.
It was an industrial auto mechanic fan,
Only
in
one
the
fan.
garage.
Hey, we bought it brand new.
Not Craigslist.
Oh, we keep digressing. But
Yes, Blake, thank you, sir.
It's
Brendan,
new
This is
to us.
amazing.
Oops, hold on.
Nicole,
Thank you, guys.
Sabina, what?
Hold on. Well, I was trying to get you a good closer. Go.
Okay.
He's got it.
Yeah, he was talking.
The closer just happened.
Now it's awkward.
No, it didn't.
Now it's
He
all
did. He
silent.
did. Yeah. I didn't know. I wasn't meaning to you. I was trying
Go
to let
ahead.
you do your thing. No, I was trying to let you do your thing.
It's already over now.
All right. Well, damn it, man.
Sorry,
say what,
everybody, but I don't know
say what
what's
you're
going
saying. Well, I didn't hear Blake.
No,
Thank you.
Yes, Blake, thank you. This is an amazing place. Love being here. We're going to want to come again. Nicole, Sabina. We may be doing a show with you guys.
We
Maybe
might.
Really,
So.
really soon.
We might.
Thank you for the
We,
beer.
we
No,
may
hey,
be
thank
doing
you
another
guys
show
all
with
for
you
coming
guys
up
at
here, man.
Burnham, maybe. I don't know.
We
Yeah,
might. Never
maybe.
know.
But,
Maybe
yeah, this is
right
awesome.
after this. Oh my god.
No.
Thank you, Blake.
Hey,
My
thank
liver
you.
thanks you very much.
Yes,
Yes.
thanks.
Hey, big
Always.
shot and Blind Pig Confessions.
Cheers
Thank
to
you guys
you.
for coming up and doing the show here.
Amen.
More so your kidneys. Thank you.
We might be
Yes.
back.
The
Who
liver
knows?
what?
We don't have that far.
Well, yeah, you
No.
guys don't have that far
Yeah.
to go.
Yeah,
so.
I'm saying there's plenty of
Except
places
for
in
the
Valpo.
detour.
Do some the D tour.
The D.
The detour is an entirely
Wait,
different
save
thing.
that for show 2.
That's gonna be the name of our tour.
You got to emphasize the right word. Use the word.
Now, is it the big
Phrasing.
detour or is it
Just
the
the
big
D.
detour or
No,
just the
just the
Anything
D.
above 7 detour.
Oh, well, I won't be on that show.
Cowboy. All right, cheers.
Missed the cut.
Cheers.
Thank you.
I seldom get on jet planes, don't like not allowed to touch my head again, and touch my head again. Don't try, honey, or won't try just to hold it down again, hold it down again. I can tell that you care. I can feel the true glare of a lady in love somewhere. You can tell the time without your clock. It was 4:65 but a parking lot, and I was on my way to you. I was on my way to you. Touch my head